Alrighty, oh boy everyone, so I think I figured out exactly why Kathleen Kennedy has been saying that the Temple of Doom has been described as the most hated Indiana Jones movie out of the entire trilogy. This week she's been saying that on and off, and why Short Round is not the main character in Indy 5 is, if you guys may recall, I don't know if I'm the only one that has noticed this over the years, but Kathleen Kennedy is indeed in the Temple of Doom as a dancer. Let's put up some images, there you go. I'm sure a lot of you may have not seen this, leading to assume that the majority actually never caught their attention with this, but there you have it. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support, and let's get right into the subject. Now, we know that Kathleen Kennedy is really in a phase of panic right now, due to everything that's been happening with Skeleton Crew and The Acolyte, and now the latest Indiana Jones 5, the Dial of Destiny running into a financial disaster. We went over the previous spoilers, by the way. 3 big, terrible decisions by Lucasfilm, specifically by Kathleen Kennedy, that really emulate what they did with the Star Wars sequel trilogy, specifically surrounding Han Solo and the Solo family. So let's get into exactly what's going on here with the Dial of Destiny, featuring, of course, many of the leads, such as Harrison Ford and Phoebe Waller-Bridge, etc., and this has a lot to do with Steven Spielberg, to put things short, so let's dive right into all of this. Now, specifically, with that being all put out there and said, we know that Spielberg has been promoting this film heavily with Indy 5, The Dial of Destiny, now weeks away from release on June 30th. However, Spielberg has been promoting the film, however, held criticism with the ending of the movie just yesterday. He otherwise supports this movie through and through. However, in a recent interview, he put Kennedy on the spot, basically, by stating the following: I think we can safely say that the success of this massive franchise really comes down to like 4 people, including myself and George, and who really adapted the story from real-world events and fictional stories from the 1800s. Harrison Ford, who really created the role successfully for Indiana. And who could we forget about the lovable and welcome John Williams, who brought so many tears and heartwarming moments to the audience over the past few decades. These are really the only people that contributed to the success of the story. Many like to point to the producers, but many fans don't really even understand the role of a producer. It's not a thing that really a lot of people come to actually point to, and really are nothing more than businessmen and businesswomen. They really have nothing to do with the creativeness of the story and its success. If anything, producers never fully understand who a story is made, since of course, they are really dealing with finances and other complex departments. Now let me pause here quick. Now, the thing about Spielberg is that this is in no way saying that he is against the movie, but he does not support the ending 100%. He's made that very clear that he wasn't totally on board with the way things end for the Dial of Destiny, but he does put it out there that he loves this movie. He absolutely loves what James Mangold did with the Dial of Destiny, specifically from start to finish before the ending. And so he's really begging fans to go ahead and see this thing, but he's also putting Kathleen Kennedy on the spot, which is kind of funny because he's supporting this, but he's also kind of really destroying it in the process during its marketing run. So he's really putting it out there that Ford, Williams, himself, and yes, even Lucas are the only contributors to how Indiana Jones became such a success and to where it stands on its own status today in pop culture. Totally excluding producers, even putting the producer role on the spot, saying how fans don't truly understand this. This is very similar, by the way, to what Harrison Ford said yesterday about something near similar to how it was only up to the 4 of them that made it into a success. This is yet again very similar to what he also did on stage at the Indy 5 world premiere, where he literally was naming Ford, Lucas, John Williams, and when he mentioned John Williams, Kathleen Kennedy stopped clapping, and she literally was expecting herself to get named right after they named, I believe, Harrison Ford at the time, and himself. And so that just goes to show you that she's very egotistical, very much self-absorbed, and narcissistic, I must add, because when you think about it, somebody who keeps repeating and repeating and repeating with their projects and expects the same outcome, hence Star Wars and now Indiana Jones, and they're shocked by fans not agreeing with this, I think that's pure narcissism and insanity. So let's move on to the next thing. Alright? He goes on to state, I may not have 100% agree with the ending of this film, but I totally support with what Mr. Mangold put into this movie. It truly is the thrill of a lifetime, and I suggest everyone go see it. And once again, it was us four that really made the magic happen. I know fans wanted Short Round to be their main character, but that was a no-go since Kathy felt it didn't suit Mangold's vision. So we didn't really get to explore his character return deeply, really. They did have some previous ideas for that rolling around that were being tested, and well, that was exciting too. I think fans who have doubts about this film are going to be very wrong with themselves, but just wait and see. So you can see that Spielberg is like really rolling over too, and saying, oh, this movie's great, it's fantastic, go see it, make sure to go ahead and catch it. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that, yeah, he is someone that presented this movie, he is someone that really contributed to the success of this film. He doesn't want to burn it down, obviously, during the marketing, but he's also putting Kathleen Kennedy on the spot, which I find to be hilarious, and I think it's very well fitting, because we know that Spielberg and Kennedy did have drama years and years ago. This is confirmed, by the way, where they did have quite a number of run-ins with each other that were pretty aggressive and argumentative conversations, especially when they were making those older films that Kathy Kennedy was involved in. So it just goes to show you that this is nothing new. Kathleen Kennedy always had like some kind of attitude behind the scenes and behind closed doors with not just the creators but also the cast and the crew. And the same exact thing applied to The Dial of Destiny, and I'm sure that's why Spielberg and Ford have been putting her on the spot and really kind of just downplaying the role of a producer and just listing the main four. Harrison Ford, Spielberg, John Williams, and of course Lucas. They're really the only guys that made Indiana Jones stand where it is today, at least with the original three, right? As far as I'm concerned, guys, The Last Crusade is the last movie. The Crystal Skull film, and to me, is just nothing more than a dream. In Indy 5, we've heard a lot of reviews, we've gone over the spoilers. Essentially, it's slightly, and I mean so slightly, like a hair, more satisfying than the Crystal Skull film. And that's not saying much. I mean, that's still pretty abysmal if you guys have to ask me, but it fails terribly in different ways. That's going to be different or more severe than Crystal Skull. So, anyways, I would love to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.